How do you really assess risk with investments? Especially, when the opportunity comes from someone you trust, a friend, maybe someone in your community.
Hmm.
Today we're doing a deep dive into just that. We've got some detailed notes from an anonymous listener about their experience with what they're calling Ghazala Din's trust-based investment scam.
Right. And the way this was set up is, well, it's quite clever in a concerning way. It used familiar ideas to seem really, really plausible. So our listener got pulled in through a mutual friend. That immediately adds a layer of trust, doesn't it?
Instantly.
It was sold as this fractional real estate deal. You pool your money with others, buy shares and properties. Sounds normal enough. But the promises were, well, very attractive. Consistent monthly payments, they said. A big bonus when the properties were sold later on.
Okay, that sounds pretty good already.
And here's the kicker, an absolute guarantee. If the whole thing went bust, investors would get all their money back. So it looked like there was almost no risk. High returns, zero downside. That's the dream.
The classic too good to be true situation.
Exactly, and it's perfectly designed to get past our usual caution, especially when it's wrapped up in that layer of trust from the introduction.
But I mean, even if someone is really persuasive, surely there were some warning signs. How did this person manage to be so convincing?
Well, Ghazala Din was apparently incredibly persuasive, made the whole setup sound completely logical, and our source even mentions she might have sort of played on the financial anxiety around the whole pandemic situation.
Oh, interesting. So using that uncertainty?
Yeah, potentially clouding people's judgment. A crisis can sometimes make us more vulnerable, not more cautious, when something looks like a safe bet. And there was another thing, referral bonuses. Bring in new investors, get a bonus.
Ah, okay, that sounds familiar. Like a pyramid structure.
That's often a characteristic, yeah. Sometimes called a Ponzi scheme.
Hmm.
The payouts depend on new money coming in, not necessarily real profits from, the actual properties.
Right. Okay, so on the surface, very appealing. But our listeners' notes flagged some issues pretty quickly, didn't they? What was the first big one?
Yes, definitely. Despite asking multiple times, Ghazala Din apparently never revealed the actual company name she was supposedly working under with her partner.
No company name.
And maybe even more critically, zero contracts were signed. None. Not between the investors, not with Ghazala Din herself.
Wow. So no paperwork at all. That's not just informal. That's like having no legal ground to stand on.
Precisely. And this wasn't just an accident, you see. In finance, no documents means no accountability. It's a huge red flag. And it gets worse when you add the cultural context our listener mentioned.
What was that?
Well, the notes say that in the Pakistani Asian community, doing financial deals based purely on trust, like a handshake deal, is quite common.
Okay, I see.
And Ghazala Din apparently leaned right into that, explicitly said things like, this is on a trust basis, no paperwork needed. She used that cultural norm. So this reliance on trust without any formal agreements became the weak spot. When things inevitably went wrong, there was just nothing to fall back on legally.
That's quite something. Using a community strength, that trust, against people, it makes doing your homework, your due diligence, incredibly hard. So what happened when people started asking for proof or their money?
Yeah, that's when it all started to unravel, just as you'd expect. When investors began asking for, evidence of where their money was, Ghazala Din couldn't provide any.
Avoidance.
Total avoidance. Our source says she'd constantly change the subject, wouldn't answer direct questions, and every time someone asked for their money, it was just excuse after excuse after excuse. In the end, like the notes say very clearly, it just turned out to be a massive scam.
A tough lesson learned, clearly.
Yeah, indeed. And it really leaves us with a key question for you listening right now. What does this whole story, this